Welcome back, racers, to another video on Gran Turismo Sport, and welcome back to JEV USA for an absolute whirlwind of 5 races on a daily race B around Sardinia this week. Obviously, we are making Dodge great again by only using the Dodge Viper. Now, this is Group 3, and it is very, very understeery, as I'm going to find out on this first race. So I had about 5 minutes practice before this first race. And the lesson of today, the thing we're going to take away from this piece of content, is to practice, is to warm up before you jump in. I should have done probably 20 minutes more practice, and then probably should have got a better qualifying time as well. But you will see the qualifying times come down in between each race as we go through this video. So up to 4th then, the Brazilian making a mistake. And coming down the hill to a very tricky left-hander here, you've got to brake a little bit earlier than you think you should because of that downhill gradient. Gravity is working against you. Getting a nice straight line out of that corner and early on the power will see you get a nice run up this back straight and flat through this right hand corner, and braking just as you go over that crest there into this sweeping left hand corner here. Don't get on the power too soon, otherwise you'll see yourself in the gravel pit on the right hand side there. This corner then is where it all goes wrong, as it's very, very deceptive. It makes you think you can get on the power nice and early, but you really can't, as it kind of tightens, and we find out yet again on the next lap. We just dip 2 wheels into the gravel, and it's just going to sort of suck us out into the barrier. And that's going to be it. Any chance of any good kind of result from this race is kind of just down the drain as we go all the way down to 10th place, and we have to fight back through the pack over the next couple of laps. So I just want to shout out to this guy as well, Max Smack, or Max Smack, whatever you want to say, for some really freaking cool driving coming through the first couple of corners. So we see the Dodge is only slightly faster than the Porsche in a straight line coming into turn 1 and then turn 2, and the amount of respect that we have for each other, giving each other space. I was completely expecting him to run me wide and run me off the track there, but he genuinely gave me space, and we're going to try and do it again, keeping it around the outside, getting on the power just a little bit earlier than he is. And after he brakes a little bit early there for that corner, that's going to be us up into 7th place. But a big shout out and a big congratulations for some good freaking driving. We don't see it enough, and we don't applaud it enough, so well done, Max Mac. Nearly catching up with the Argentine then, who actually was the pole sitter. So moving into the next race, we are actually going to improve our lap time. We're going to go into the 1:21.240, and it's going to put us on pole in front of that Argentine. So what can we do from the start of the grid in this next race then? And honestly, nothing really happens. He stays within a second of me for the whole race, so consistently applying pressure, but we counteract that by being consistent ourselves and bring it home for the victory. So that's going to be a first victory for Dodge on the video. Mark it up, boys. 17 wins with the Dodge Viper. And just before we get into the next race, as I went to warm up, there we go. We see that Martinho there has gone for the wets. He's on the wet tyre, so let's see how that works out for him in this in this race. But I think something was pretty bugged about this, because the game was saying that I had my purple JEV Racing livery on, but obviously you're looking at the screen and there is no livery there. I even went back to my garage and tried to put the livery on there, but there was just no liveries available, so I'm not really sure what's going on. A glitch in the system somewhere. But back on with this race, we're starting in second behind another Brazilian driver, and it is basically just the flipped effect from the previous race. I've just stuck with him, just like the Argentine stuck with me, and just as we come into T1, he goes narrow for some reason, and that just jeopardizes his run into turn 2, and that's it. He made a mistake. It only takes one mistake, and that is it, especially when you're getting into the sort of faster lobbies with faster people. And I was really, really chuffed about that victory, because I stayed on him like a fly on crap the whole race, and we got rewarded with a victory. So once again, boys, mark it up. A very, very consistent, good victory there for the Dodge boys. There we go, another victory. Let that confetti rain down, and the victories is up to 18 now. Go on the Dodge boys, go on the Dodge lads. Race number 4 then, out of 5. We still have the Argentinian behind us, and now we have an American in front of us instead of the Brazilian. Now, he was the first driver that we've come across that has gone into the 120s. He had a 120.9 as his qualifying time. So I was a bit skeptical on our ability to pass him, because we haven't actually gone into the 120s yet. So we're going to follow him around for a lap, just checking behind us as well. The Argentinian is still there, putting on that pressure, keeping us honest so we don't make any mistakes. Coming down into this heavy braking section then, which is going to get a nice exit, a better exit than Star Troop 25 in front of us, and that's going to give us a good run in the slipstream up the back straight. So thinking about a move then into the left hand up here, I'm going to try and go around the outside, but I go a little bit too wide and lose a little bit too much time, and we're not up alongside him enough to warrant a lunge to throw it up the inside of him. So we just sit behind him and coming through the right hander, which I feel like I've got nailed now, just being patient, coasting a little bit and then smashing on the throttle when I know I'm not going to go straight into that barrier like we did in the first race. Just making sure we stay tight to the apex on the right and shifting down into fourth to get the car turned in around the left-hander, and then getting on the power as soon as we can. You can tell that we've got a better run out of the corner onto the start-finish straight than the Corvette in front of us, and that's going to make me think, can I go for a move into turn one? In my head, I answer yes. Yes, we can. So we shift towards the left, but he just drives just ever so slightly in front of me, so I think he blocked just a little bit. But anyway, coming through turn two, he's just going to go a little bit wide and absolutely screw himself going onto the grass, and we're just going to unfortunately go into the back of him. No harm done though. Obviously I was a little bit peeved about what I thought was blocking, but it's probably not, so that's fine. But coming around here, he's going to get on the power too soon, and looking at the radar down on the right, he's going to slide and make contact. He's going to make contact with the Argentinian and then go off himself. And you know what that means? Yep, the Argentine gets a 5-second penalty. GT Sport at it again. Beautiful, beautiful penalty system. But we're not going to grumble. We got through that nice and easy, and coming across the line, 7 seconds ahead of Star Troop, who made a little bit of a comeback there to second place. That's going to be it. Another victory for the Dodge boys. Number 3 on our car as well, so a nice bit of driver rating increase as well, I'm assuming. Last race then, and we did manage to get our time, our qualifying time into the 120, so a 120.9 in the Dodge. The leader though has a 120.6, so 0.3 quicker. I'm imagining that he's just going to run away with it. But here we go, we're going to just suggest that this is his first race of the day. You know, we've been racing now for, this is the 5th race and we haven't seen him in here yet. So the fact that we are just seeing his face for the first time may suggest that this is his first race of the day. So he might be a little bit cold and we're pretty hot. We're pretty freaking red hot right now. We are in our groove. And as we come through this left-hander here, he's just going to get on the power too soon, get a little bit wiggly, does well to save it. But that is going to be us up into first place, and that is how it's going to finish. So here it is. Race tip! Make sure you warm up. Make sure that when you go into that first race, you are at race pace. Don't find yourself catching up for the first couple of laps, because that's just going to put you out of sorts. In my opinion, it's better to miss a race and spend that time qualifying and getting some practice in than just jumping into a race a minute before the race begins. But I'd love to know what your thoughts are as well. What do you do to prepare for races? Do you warm up? Do you just jump in? Do you not really care? Do you care a lot? Do you care about your qualifying time? Anything like that, let me know in the comments section below. As we look behind us just there, and there it is, there's the start of the drop off. They're just going to fight the whole race. They're just going to fight, and we're going to run away with it. So as we come through the final section of corners on the track, a very, very good outing for Jev USA and the Dodge boys. We went from 38,000 driver rating up to 41,500 driver rating. So a good boost in driver rating there as we actually overlap someone as we come across the finish line. And yes, we are going to celebrate our 20th win with the Dodge Viper. Absolutely fantastic. Really hope you enjoyed this one. It was a little bit of an analysis of some racing, but also making Dodge great again. It is going pretty well. So thank you so much for watching, liking and subscribing. Thank you members for doing the things you do to support the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.